In this video, we're going to talk about feeling worthy of love. It's a very important subject. Without feeling worthy of love, we can't really let the joy into our lives. Now, it's Seth here, bringing the joy in the heart of nature. Over time, I've had a lot of experience with this subject of feeling worthy of love or not in previous times. There's a lot of time that I did not at all feel worthy of love. And this started, it's a learned behavior, the whole effect of self-sabotaging. So the root of it is just that feeling of not being worthy of love. And it starts, generally speaking, when you're very young. In my case, I'll share a little bit about my experience. In my experience, I started out, I was chilling really young with my mom, with my dad. My mom was a very kind and giving and loving person. My dad, he didn't start out this way, but because my mom would have never been with him if he did. But he was very angry. And he would project his own self-sabotaging behavior on me and my brother and my mom. We were too young to understand the scope of why this was happening. He didn't really understand how to deal with it himself, and so he would project it on others to the detriment of others and himself. It's not unfortunate because the story is the same with a lot of people. And I talk about him and anybody else that's in that boat with as much compassion as possible, because I know what it's like to be that way, to project in that way. But it starts somewhere. And in my case, it started with him. Him and his projection on me. His self-sabotaging behavior and downgrading my worth when I was very young, to the point where I didn't really feel like I was worth much of anything. And I was like, I would actually say that. I'm like, I don't think that I'm really worth this love. I don't think I'm really worthy of X, Y, or Z. It's a learned behavior over time that caused me a lot of problems. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to that, because it's fairly common, unfortunately, that one or both parents don't instill the best kind of behavioral patterns in their children in regards to love and just generally feeling worthy of the blessings that come into our lives. Now, from there, up until the age of 14, my dad was in my life. And he would, whenever he was home, he would constantly project that towards me. That kind of feeling that you don't deserve this. This isn't for you. It's one of those kind of unfortunate patterns that gets programmed in. And no matter how loving and caring my mom was, which, bless her soul, she is basically both my parents, that no matter how loving and caring she was, whatever she did, that pattern disrupted everything, to the point where it was very difficult for me to, at the time, cultivate any self-worth at all. So this was a pattern that continued on after he was removed from our lives, that I would continue to feel some level of worthlessness. And that's really what self-sabotage is, or a lack of feeling worthy of love, is that it's that pattern that somebody else was doing towards you that you keep perpetuating because you think you have to for some reason or other. You might not even have a reason for it. It's just all you know, which is very unfortunate. In my case, that was kind of all I knew, was this sort of pattern of self-sabotaging. Just bringing myself down. Like, I don't know if I'm really worthy of this love. Sounds kind of sad, but it is what it is, right? So from there, over the years, I started to really tap into my true worth and really understand how unique I am. That's really where it starts. To really understand how extraordinarily unique you are, and how you are one of a kind. Like, there is not a single soul on this planet that has anything on you, and you cannot compare yourself to anybody, because you and your experience are very unique. You cannot compare yourself to anybody, and therefore, like, you don't want to really cultivate a sort of egocentric sort of self-importance. But what you want to do is cultivate your own authenticity or sense of uniqueness. Be proud of yourself, for heaven's sakes. You're here. And it took a lot for you to even exist here on this planet. It took a long time for all of those variables to come together to create the being that is you right now. Your energy projected into the physical. It's very, very unique. That's where it starts with, as far as I'm concerned. And in my experience, that's how I sort of started to break that pattern of self-sabotage and not feeling that I'm worth love, or not deserving of love in some way, is that I really started to think about, I'm unique. There's a special reason that I exist here. Really think about that. Think about it. If your number gets called today, 5 minutes from now even, then you're no longer living here. But since you're living here, there's a very special and very profound reason for that. And you are worthy of every blessing and every miracle that comes into your life. The trees are even saying so. Saying, man, get out in nature. Breathe in the fresh air. Nature doesn't question whether you or anybody else is worthy of love. Nature just shares the love with everybody. Universal love gets shared through nature. Think about it. If you go to the river, you go hang out in the trees, it's love right here. We're surrounded by love. The trees, they pull carbon dioxide out of the air and provide the oxygen that we breathe. I'm breathing some of the freshest air on this planet, just standing in a forest right now. Nature doesn't stop and question whether or not you or I or anybody is worthy of love. Nature just provides that for us. It's a guarantee, no questions asked. Say, nature shares nature's loving embrace with all beings on this planet equally. And there's no discrimination. Really, getting out in nature has helped me to understand my own self-worth. As interesting as that may sound, just getting out into the forest, breathing in the fresh air, going by the water. We got the river in the background. You can't see it. It's down in a big canyon over there. But it's there. It's saying hello. And the waters of the river are the waters of life. If the river stops flowing, we would no longer we would no longer live on this planet if the river would stop flowing. It's the waters of life right there. That is unconditional love. Think about an animal like a cat. A cat doesn't stop. Like when you start petting your cat and your cat's purring away, your cat doesn't stop and say, "Wait a minute, I don't know if I'm worthy of this love right now. You know what? I don't think I am." Your cat's just like in the present moment, enjoying the love, right? Cats are so inspiring that way. Well, animals in general, but if I had to pick a favorite animal, I would pick a cat. Even like a cougar. I joked about coming out in the forest one day. Like, I'm pretty sure cougars would like catnip. We'll go in the forest one day, bring big cardboard box filled with catnip and a laser pointer, and go find a cougar and say, "Here, kitty, kitty, kitty." Yeah. And then cougar gets in the box and starts playing. That would be a fun video to record. I've hung out with a few cougars in my time hanging out in the forest. Most of the time they don't stick around very long. But when they are around, very awe-striking and inspiring. But anyways, that's besides the point. Your cat or your dog does not stop to think about if they deserve the love that you're giving them. They just enjoy it for what it is. They don't. It's a learned behavior and it's the root of self-sabotage. That feeling that I don't deserve this love, or I am unworthy somehow of what's coming to me in life. And then you shut off the faucet. You stop things from coming in. You essentially remove virtues from your life based on your own self-sabotaging behaviors, and therefore cut off your own vitality. You cut off your own vitality. It's very unfortunate to see anybody do that. This message is brought to you by somebody that has done that many years. Many years. 6 years ago, my mom died in a car accident. And I was still in a state of being very self-sabotaging at that time. And I had a lot of experience with driving long distances on the highway and how it would make you very tired. If you worked a really long day afterward, or not afterwards, but before, sometimes before and after. And it was just something that I never really talked to her about. And then she goes off the highway and we think maybe she fell asleep at the wheel. And for a long time, I beat myself up over it. I thought somehow I was responsible for her death based on the fact that I didn't say anything about it. And, how she was in a position where she had to drive a long ways after work. And I didn't say anything to her. I didn't have that conversation with her. And somehow, through my self-sabotaging behaviors, I felt responsible for that. Obviously, that doesn't make any sense. But it's just the way that pattern goes. Is that even if things are definitely have nothing to do with you at all, you'll still find a way to make it your fault or make yourself somehow feel low about the situation in a way that doesn't really need to happen at all. And so in the years following, this was back in 2017 that she went off the highway, but I started to learn self-love in the years following this incident. And so it's really, when you talk about feeling worthy of love, it's about letting go of those self-sabotaging behaviors, because we're already worthy of love. There's nothing that is there that ever tells us we're not worthy of love. Like, there's no judgment. There's no, oh my God, this guy is not worthy of the love that's coming to him. Like, what the, it's just not like that. But we make it like that through our self-sabotaging behaviors. And therefore, just getting out in nature, really understanding the uniqueness of my own being, and realizing there's nothing serious going on here. We're just having a bit of fun. Just having a bit of fun in the forest. And hearing some interesting sounds around me. The animals are having a bit of fun in the forest too. And it's beautiful. And really understanding that, like, starts to bring the joy back into your life, because that self-sabotage is a learned behavior. You were not born feeling this way, that you are not worthy of love, or something outside of you is telling you blah blah blah, you're not worthy of this, or you don't deserve that, or whatever. That's not something you were born with. It's something you learned. You can unlearn it. And really, just embracing your own uniqueness, and just taking some time out of your day. This is what I've found has really helped me along the way of self-love, is taking some time out of my day and just really considering what I'm grateful for. Just ask yourself first thing in the morning, before you even do anything, before you complain about anything or even think about anything, just ask yourself this question: what am I grateful for? Some people don't even think about it. They take stuff for granted so often that they forget to be grateful for what's already been given to them. Really think about that. What am I grateful for? The more that you think about it, the more stuff will come to you, and you'll be surprised. Like, I had a huge long list of stuff that I felt grateful for every single time that I did it. And it got longer every time that I would do it. As I trained my mind throughout, like, every single morning, I would say, what am I grateful for? What am I grateful for? I would start with that list of things. And it's gotten to the point now where I don't even complain anymore. Something happens, I just start thinking about the stuff that I am grateful for and the blessings that are already pouring into my life. And I hold my hands out stretched. Like, when you feel grateful, more stuff shows up for you to feel grateful for. Think about that. Just really take a moment to ponder that. How you structure what is going on inside your mind is how your day is turning out. Think about that. Like, it's really, really a simple and yet extremely complex subject that you just start structuring your day with a different question. What am I grateful for? Because in previous times, I would wake up in the morning and I would just say to myself, well, it's another day. Why am I awake right now? Why do I need to be awake right now? Or I'd say something along those lines. Like, I just start complaining. It's not a good way to be. It really doesn't help you at all. And when you complain, that's the kicker, is that more stuff shows up for you to complain about. It's the law of attraction in the universe. Where your focus is, everything inside of that focus grows stronger. If you're focused in the cathedral of nature and thinking about what you have to be grateful for, more stuff should show up that makes you feel more gratitude, and it compiles on top. And then when those self-sabotaging thoughts come up, then you just say, hey, you know what? I already got all these blessings pouring into my life. Like, this thought right now just doesn't even make any sense at all. It makes absolutely no sense for me to feel unworthy because of how easily and how naturally all these blessings just come pouring into my life. Those thoughts show up and you say, not today. You know, because you're too busy bringing the joy to get brought down by that self-sabotaging and negative behavior. Really think about that. Really give it a try. Just ask yourself, what am I grateful for in the morning? It's 100% the place to start. And it changed my life forever when I started to do this. And try to get out in nature if you can. I mean, even if you're in the city, there's some kind of a green space somewhere in almost every city that you can go in and just be by the trees and just meditate and chill and be present in the moment and just have gratitude for the forest. I feel so blessed every single day being able to just go out in nature, go out by the river, just hang out with the birds and the bears and stuff in the forest. It's really awesome. I don't for 1 minute take that for granted. As part of self-sabotaging is that you start taking stuff for granted that not everybody has. Not everybody is able to just go stroll out in the forest on a nice path and go to the river and not even see a single person. Not that I don't like seeing people, but sometimes I just love my solitude, you know? I'm sure some of you can relate to that. Anyways, that really is the core of feeling worthy of love. Feeling gratitude, just being conscious of the focus of your mind. Your mind is a fertile ground, like that of a garden. And what you plant there really matters. You let the weeds grow up tall, you're going to feel unworthy. You're going to start beating yourself up. You're going to start hitting that wall again. It's an ongoing process, just like with a garden. You plant the plants in the garden, you can't just abandon it, because the weeds will still grow up even if you plant the plants there. You got to keep weeding your garden, keep watering it, keep nurturing it, just like your mind, the contents of your mind. And above all, just take time to be present. Like, don't always be in your mind. Take time to be outside of your mind and just very intensely present to the moment. Because there's a reason they call it the present. It's a gift. These are how I managed to feel worthy of love. And it's an ongoing process for me. I'm not saying it's a done deal and I always feel worthy of love every single day, every single moment of every single day. But more often than not, I'm there. I'm bringing the joy, having a wonderful time out in nature, breathing in the fresh air, hanging out with my wife, petting my cats, doing all kinds of fun stuff. But it's an ongoing process. It's just like when you go to the gym and you get fit. You don't say, oh, okay, that's it. I'm done going to the gym. It doesn't work that way. It's a process that you got to keep working at every single time. Every single time that you go there, you keep working at it. You don't just say, I'm fit, that's it, we're done. It's a lifelong process. Just like bringing the joy, feeling worthy of love, it's a lifelong process. Otherwise, if you stop feeling gratitude and you start complaining all the time, you're going to start going down that road of self-sabotage, and you're going to feel unworthy of love again. So just keep cultivating it. And above all, never give up. The universe thinks you're worthy of love. Unquestioningly, I may know you and I may not. It doesn't matter. I think you're worthy of love. You are 100% worthy of love. And if you're here watching this video, I'm sharing joy with you. It's another beautiful day in the heart of nature. Peace.